In this unit, our topic is man and nature. We will focus on our life in the universe. By the end of this unit, you will be interested in life in the universe, identify the global structure of an academic essay, and retell the research based on keywords. Are we alone in the universe? Now let's go to the text.
Are we alone in the universe? Paul Davies. Tempe, Arizona. The recent announcement by a team of astronomers that there could be as many as 40 billion habitable planets in our galaxy has further fueled the speculation, popular even among many distinguished scientists, that the university is teeming with life. The astronomer Jeffrey W. Marcy of the University of California, Berkeley, an experienced planet hunter and co-author of the study that generated the finding, said that it represents one leap toward the possibility of life, including intelligent life, in the universe. But possibility is not the same as likelihood. If a planet is to be inhabited rather than merely habitable, two basic requirements must be met. The planet must first be suitable, and then the life must emerge on it at some stage. What can be said about the chances of life starting up on a habitable planet? Darwin gave us a powerful explanation of how life on Earth evolved over billions of years, but he would not be drawn out on the question of how life got going in the first place. One might as well speculate about the origin of matter, he quipped. In spite of intensive research, scientists are still very much in the dark about the mechanism that transformed a non-living chemical soup into a living cell. But without knowing the process that produced life, the odds of its happening can't be estimated. When I was a student in the 1960s, the prevailing view among scientists was that life on Earth was a freak phenomenon, the result of a sequence of chemical accidents so rare that they would be unlikely to have happened twice in the observable universe. Man at last knows he is alone in the unfeeling immensity of the universe, out of which he has emerged only by chance, wrote the biologist Jack Monod. Today, the pendulum has swung dramatically, and many distinguished scientists claim that life will almost inevitably arise in Earth-like conditions. Yet this decisive shift in view is based on little more than a hunch, rather than an improved understanding of life's origin. The underlying problem is complexity. Even the simplest bacterium is, at the molecular level, staggeringly complex. Although we have no idea of the minimal complexity of a living organism, it is likely to be very high. It could be that some sort of complexifying principle operates in nature, serving to drive a chaotic mix of chemicals on a fast track to primitive microbe. If so, no hint of such a principle has been found in laboratory experiments to recreate the basic building blocks of life. On the other hand, if life arose simply by the accumulation of many specific chemical accidents in one place, it is easy to imagine that only one in, say, a trillion habitable planets would ever host such a dream run. Set against a number that big, and once you decide a series of unlikely accidents is behind the creation of life, you get enormous odds very easily. It is irrelevant whether the Milky Way contains 40 billion habitable planets or just a handful. 40 billion makes hardly a dent in a trillion. So we are stuck. Life may indeed pop up readily in Earth-like conditions, or it may be a fluke, unique in the observable universe. Because we are a product of this cosmic accident, we cannot conclude that Earth is typical, No statistical evidence can be drawn from a sample of one. The easiest way to settle the matter is to find a second sample of life, one that arose from scratch independent of known life. The inventory of extrasolar planets being discovered is an extremely useful first step. In the future, our telescopes should be able to analyze the atmospheres of some of these planets for telltale signs of biological activity. But evidence favoring life's high probability could exist closer to home. No planet is more Earth-like than Earth itself. If life does pop up readily in Earth-like conditions, then it should have started many times right here on our own planet. It could be that intermingled among the seething microbes all around us are some that are so biochemically different that they could be descended only from a separate origin. You couldn't tell by looking, only by delving into their molecular innards and finding something weird enough to rule out a common precursor. The discovery of just a single alien microbe under our very noses would be enough to conclude that the universe was indeed teeming with life. It would also address a deep philosophical question. Although the pathway from microbes to complex thinking beings like humans may still be a very difficult one, at least we know the mechanism whereby it happens: Darwinian evolution. If microbial life is widespread in the cosmos, we can expect that, at least here and there, sentient beings will evolve. We would then be much closer to answering that age-old puzzle of existence. Are we alone in the universe?
Hello, this is Yang Fang from Tsinghua University. Today I've invited two of my students to be here to talk about Are we alone in the universe?
Hello, my name is Jiang Muyun. I'm a student from Tsinghua University. I major in English.
Hello, my name is Zhang Jiarui. I'm a student from Tsinghua University. I major in English.
In this text, we have many different sentences. Now let's start from paragraph 1. Do you have any questions?
Yes. What does it mean to inhabit? Does it mean that we live in some place?
Yes. Similar to live, we also say DWELL,
Do.
and also inhabit. If a place is suitable for people to live, we will say it's inhabitable. And people who are living in this place will say they are inhabitants.
I would wonder that if the Earth is the only planet to be inhabited.
That's a very good question. You have asked a question which many scientists are interested in. Now let's look at the text. In this sentence, we have some expressions which are very vivid. The first one is quip. How do you understand quip?
Is quip a humorous remark?
Does quip mean amusing remark?
Yes, you're both right. When we use quip, we are talking about an expression is very wise, very intelligent, but we intended to be humorous. Another expression is in the dark. Well, can you make a sentence with in the dark?
Yes. For example, yesterday Jiarui went to a party, but she kept me in the dark.
Yes. To keep somebody in the dark means do not tell somebody, do not inform somebody of new information. Now let's look at the last sentence in this paragraph. How do we paraphrase this sentence?
I think it means that man realized that he was the only living creature in the universe. There exists no other living creature in the huge universe.
And human happened to emerge in the universe.
Well, that's fabulous. Now let's look at the next sentence. Do we have any questions here?
I was confused by the word staggeringly. Does it mean extremely or startlingly?
Yes, it means shockingly and strikingly.
It is amazing that even the simplest creature can be biologically complicated.
Yes, you are right. In science, we use simple and complex to refer to some phenomena like things we cannot explain because it's very complicated or very complex. In this sentence, we have a verb means complexify. Jiarui, can you think of any other verbs which end with fy?
Maybe classify, terrify, simplify.
Great, that's a very good way to enlarge our vocabulary. Any other questions?
Yes, what does chaotic mean?
Chaotic is a state of being in complete confusion or disorder. In the next sentence, we have an expression, pop up. What does pop up mean?
I think pop up means to appear in a place or a situation unexpectedly.
Yes, we use pop up to refer to somebody or something happen or somebody come unexpectedly. In the next sentence, we have an expression from scratch. Jerry, what does from scratch mean?
I guess it means from the very beginning.
That's great. In the last sentence of this paragraph, we do have some impressions which I found very interesting and vivid. Can you find it?
Yes, I guess under our very noses means that the microbe is very close to hand.
And I think alien means foreign. T-boy something means a lot of.
Yes, these three expressions are very vivid and very interesting. I hope you can find more natural and idiomatic usages in this passage.
Possibility is a chance that something may happen or be true. Likelihood means the chance that something is likely to happen. That's why the writers say possibility is not the same as likelihood. If a planet is to be inhabited, it means that it is habitable. We must be certain about two basic requirements. One is that it is suitable, while another is that life does exist on it at some stage. This sentence means that we cannot be satisfied with the possibility that a planet is technically habitable. We must make sure that there are beings existing on this planet, and we have concrete evidence to support our claim that life exists on this planet.
In this sentence, quip means making a humorous remark. In the dark means not informed about things that might be useful to know. The odds means the probability or how likely that something will happen. In this paragraph, the writer argues that Darwin and other scientists are not clear about the origin of how life got going at the very beginning. Although many pieces of research have been conducted, the mechanism of how a living cell has been produced or the process of how the living cell comes about cannot be estimated.
A biologist, Jacques Monod, wrote that man realized that he was the only living creature which happened to emerge in the universe. It means there exists no other creature in the huge universe.
At the molecular level, the simplest bacterium is surprisingly difficult to understand because it is complex. Staggeringly means shockingly or surprisingly.
Complexify means to make more complex. In this sentence, the writer is indicating that a specific principle of nature makes the situation even more complex. This principle serves to make a mixture of chaotic chemicals a primitive microbe, intertwined on a fast track. This sentence means that the microbes in a living organism are in an uncontrolled condition which does not follow any pattern.
In this paragraph, the writer is indicating that human beings have difficulty in understanding why there exists life in the universe. In conditions which are similar to the Earth, there are lives. The emergence of life on the Earth may be simply lucky and accidental, which is unique in the universe that we are able to observe.
The easiest way to give an answer to this question is to try to find and understand another sample of life. This life is independent of any known life, so we may identify, observe, and understand it from the very beginning. From scratch means from the beginning. without using anything that already exists.
To find a single microbe which is alien is enough to draw the conclusion that the universe is full of animals or people. Under our very noses means that the microbe is very close to hand. Alien implies that the microbe does not exist in our living environment. Teem with something means to contain large numbers of animals or people.
This would also raise a deep issue, which is a philosophical question.